I went to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little smacked while watching it. I went like a loser, or in my mind, what I like to call a secret celebrity who's undercover in my black hood and my baggy pants. And to be honest, like many of the reviews, at least on Twitter, the movie wasn't all that good. It was the same basic plot line. It felt like a filler movie. There's so much information that could be tied back to this movie and further movies. They just had to get this one done so they could get money for the next big movie, Doomsday or whatever. Now, that is speculation. But anyways, back to the movie. What I'm seeing online is this talk about the loss of love and this limerence state. So Peter basically waits 4 to 5 years before getting the courage to be around his ex-girlfriend / crush, MJ. Now, MJ doesn't remember Peter, but Peter is in love with her. So in love that when she says, "I don't love you," or whatever really happened, it completely alters his DNA in the process. At least that's kind of what I picked up from the movie. But still, he goes into this deep dive of trying to save her, which I'm not saying isn't the moral thing to do in the situation. Like, you should save her. You know, she has had love for you in this alternate universe, and Peter still cares for her, but things have changed. The love is one-sided. It reminds me of The Great Gatsby, the yearning for someone who is gone, someone who you had a past for, but it failed. You're trying to make her understand, make her see how you can treat and love her. And you get so caught up in trying to be a better person, look maxing, overworking to make more money, working out 5 times, 7 times a week, just so you can finally show someone who never really loved you in the first place why you are lovable. Kids do this with their parents too. It's the stereotypical Asian household who forces their dreams onto their younger children, and the kids grow up chasing this validation from their parents, chasing this love and building ultimate empires out of limerence. And maybe that's why we stay in this feeling longer than we really intend to. Maybe that's why we chase this feeling of pain, because we can see how much beauty, how much strength can come from it. Anyways, back to the Spider-Man movie again. The one quote that stuck with me and while I was on another planet in the theaters by myself was, what if you're trying to suppress something that needs to be expressed? Now, you can take this quote and run about a dozen different meanings to it. If you're a pseudopsychologist, this could be used to interpret woke culture. It could also be used to interpret the freaking Bible. But what I see in my perspective comes from suppressing heartbreak, suppressing that inner feeling of loss and betrayal. Not like cheating betrayal, but life betrayal, if that makes sense. How could I trust the world that this feeling could last forever? It's weird because, when you're young, these feelings don't last that long, or at least you can't conceptualize them lasting as long as they feel like when you're an adult. Heartbreak isn't that bad. Losing your toys, losing your game, it happens. And when it happens, you're over it like a week later. But then when you hit puberty or something or whatever, these emotions get sticky. They don't just go away. And if you're anything like me, you literally have to fight your way through depression and anxiety, especially during high school. Trying to repeat the past, a friendship or a relationship or whatever, it can and will work. Trying to get back to that love that you lost will and can work if you truly believe it will, but you'll end up in the same cycle, confused on why it ended a second time. Listen, I'm not someone who completely denies the idea of right person, wrong time, or who knocks down on the couples who get back together after they break up, especially if we're talking about Spider-Man. Zendaya and Tom literally broke up and are married now, so to make an accusation as strong as to say to never go back to a past lover is crazy. But wouldn't you agree that staying in this state is crazier? Staying in this melancholy feeling of doubt and loss. Is that what makes you a man? Is that what makes you human? Is that what it means when people say beauty is pain or love is pain? A while ago, I had this limerence feeling, and I went through the worst insecure trauma with my own POI. And the unrequited feeling that I got, and maybe that some other people listening to this also has maybe experienced or is experienced now, you can't really help but have. It's not like you really want to feel this way. And maybe your world could be a little bit better if you couldn't. And that's why we try to suppress it. We try to suppress the heartbreak or the actual understanding that this person will never love you. We try to suppress the past and the endless dating cycle. It feels forced at some point. It's not High School Musical. It's not the Titanic. It's not the Notebook. It's real life. And yes, these movies tend to mirror actual events that could happen. And if you watched my last video on patience, you can see how some of that can come into fruition. But sometimes the real problem, the problem that is being projected and interpreted, is you. You are the one that cannot let go, cannot move on. And some people actually try to suppress this with, drugs. And some other people are smart and they try to suppress it with the gym. But the worst people suppress it with other individuals, other people to use. Hurt people. You're not Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man isn't even freaking Spider-Man half the time. Half the time he's fighting to get his power into order, but that's besides the point. If Spider-Man can't just swoop back into MJ's life and win her love immediately by just being in the suit or even just by being himself, then you know that the girl or the guy you want that doesn't want you back, that feeling is just a natural feeling of wanting something, wanting someone who doesn't want you back. That's what limerence is. It's addicting. So many people are caught into it, and we haven't really put a word onto it until, recently, maybe 2-3 years ago. That's when I first started to hear this. And it isn't really just with romantic partners. It's with life. Most people have a limerent feeling towards life. You're in this state of doubt and torture because you always get stuck up on getting to the next step in your life. Getting that car, getting that job, getting that partner, getting the house, the respect, the promotion, love. It's human. At least I think it is. It's human to not be grateful, to consistently want more, especially love. And it's human not to receive it back. It's human to have once had love and now have lost it, whether it's because of you, them, or the world. It's human to be in a state of limerence too. Like maybe you thought I wasn't going to end it on that note, to not have compassion, but I do. I'm not here to give BS advice on the internet, especially when I don't have proper credentials. We're literally watching me play Minecraft in the background. But that's the truth. That's what I've come to. That's the conclusion of life. That feeling, that dark, gut-wrenching feeling is not just going to go away, especially when life triggers it again. It's there to keep you safe, keep you alive, and honestly, to give you motivation to get better. You got to learn how to detach. Not the feelings, but the outcome, and let yourself feel. Do a little bit of acceptance and commitment therapy or something. I can't tell you to give up on them or which path to choose. The only thing I can tell you is that you have to make the path, the one you go down, the right one. If you like them, if you love them, and you want to wait and take your time and have patience with getting that love, then do that. Accept that no matter what happens, this will be your person. And that doesn't mean you won't really find happiness in another. It just means you have to sit with that. Sit with the consequences of your actions. Whether that is, oh, I waited and I got this person. Oh, I waited and I didn't. Just like if you were Jay Gatsby, you waited for a tasty and, you end up getting shot in the back of the head or something. Like, you have to be like, you know what? I'm okay with that happening. And it's crazy to even think that that's what you have to do. But that's what limerence is. That's what acceptance is. Learn to love that about yourself. Learn to love being in love. Learn to love the pain that comes with being in love. Learn to love you being in limerence instead of hating it, because you aren't getting the results you want, because you aren't getting that person to love you immediately back or to forgive you or whatever. Use it as fuel and stop trying to suppress it. Learn to be a better Spider-Man.